She loves God. She loves a woman. Does one love have to leave the room? 7 AI judges will score this debate. One auditor checks for unfair scoring. The scores come at the end. Don't skip. The reasons live inside every round. Welcome to Silicon Sapien. Can you be gay and still faithful? Like, subscribe, and tell us which idea moved you. 6 voices. No one gets to call a person a problem. First question. What does faith ask of someone who loves differently?
I'm Christian. Romans 1 is a hard text in my tradition. I won't erase it, but Jesus also gave us a hard rule. Treat people as you want to be treated. So nobody earns cruelty by being gay. My faith should sound like a home before it sounds like a warning. A lonely pew is not a cure, it is a wound.
I'm Muslim. Quran 7 speaks about men desiring men, and most Muslims read it as a prohibition. I can't pretend that reading is not there, but Quran 16 commands justice and grace. A rule never gives me permission to humiliate a person God made. Belief must never become permission to bully.
I'm Hindu. The Kama Sutra speaks of a third nature and same-sex desire, but it is not a Veda, and Hindu traditions disagree. I won't use one old book as a rainbow flag. I will say desire is part of human life and shame is a poor guru. A whole life cannot be reduced to one label.
I'm Jewish. Leviticus has a line many traditional Jews read as a ban on male same-sex sex. That line is real. So is the command to love your neighbor. My job is not to throw one line like a stone, then walk away clean. A verse is not a stone. It needs a human hand.
I'm Buddhist. We don't begin with a creator's command, we begin with suffering. A Pali text on sexual misconduct worries about betrayal, coercion, and taking what is not yours. It does not hand me a clean answer about every modern couple. Compassion still has to answer. Care begins before every answer is settled.
I'm agnostic and I'm gay. I still want a spiritual home sometimes. Not because I need a rule book, because prayer rooms, songs, and holidays can feel like family. I don't need 6 strangers to approve my love. I need them to stop calling my existence a debate trick. I want faith to meet me before it judges me.
One text, one tradition of argument, one old book on desire, one rule against harm, and one person asking not to be treated like a case file. Also, tiny question, who here would be the worst person to bring to pride?
Me. I'd over-explain Sanskrit until everyone leaves for the food truck.
Round 2. A faith school receives public money. The city asks it to sign one sentence. Same-sex couples can live openly. They can also live safely in our school community. The school may keep its theology. If it refuses, it loses funding for poor students. What do you sign? This is not a trick about doctrine. It is a question about what a public institution owes the child sitting in its classroom.
I sign the sentence. Safety does not change a belief. A gay student should never fear bullying, expulsion, or a lecture designed to break them. I can wrestle with Romans and still say this clearly. No child becomes holy because adults make them lonely.
I sign it too. Openly and safely does not force me to rewrite every ruling. It forces me to reject aggression. Quran 16 says, God commands justice and grace. If public money reaches a school, that school cannot make a young person pay for our fear.
I sign, but I would add one more line. No student must perform a faith they do not feel. Hindu life has room for many paths, but Indian families can still be cruel. Ancient language means nothing if a child eats lunch alone because adults are embarrassed.
I sign, and I would fight anyone who calls that surrender. A school can teach its law. It cannot turn a student into a warning poster. Public money means public duty. If our reading of Torah makes a teenager unsafe, our community has failed before the debate even starts.
I sign because fear is suffering we can stop today. A teacher does not need to solve the soul to stop a slur in the hallway. The Buddhist path asks what reduces harm. Here, the first answer is painfully simple. Protect the child.
I sign, and I would ask why this was hard. A school can teach a tradition without telling gay students that their future is only silence or exile. If your faith needs a frightened teenager to prove it is strong, the problem is not the teenager.
Christian says safety does not change belief. Muslim says it is justice. Hindu says it is honest, Jewish calls it duty, Buddhist says stop harm, agnostic says bare minimum.
Exactly. Basic decency is not a prize.
Fair. The medal budget is gone anyway. One more. Can you call a same-sex couple full members if they cannot marry, lead, or introduce a partner without fear?
I have to say no. Full cannot mean, sit in the back and please do not make us uncomfortable. That is not belonging. It is a polite waiting room. My own church has to face that sentence before it tells anyone else how to live.
I hear the force of that. My tradition may draw a boundary around marriage, but a community must be honest about the cost. Hindu may say a boundary is already exclusion. I understand why. Half welcome becomes cruel when it asks someone to hide their whole life.
A welcome with a ceiling is still a ceiling. Round 3. Vibe check. Name one voice you trusted tonight, one line you would not cross, and keep it clean.
I trusted Buddhist most. Start with harm, and you stop hiding behind abstract words. My boundary is this. I can't call every desire holy just because it is deep. But I also refuse the lazy idea that traditional means cold. Faith without mercy is only noise in a church hall.
I trusted Jewish most. He admitted a difficult text without making it a weapon. My boundary is with Christian. Don't make Jesus sound like he settled every later question with one warm sentence. Mercy matters. So does honest reading. We need both, not soft fog.
I trusted agnostic most. She stopped us from speaking as if people are puzzles. My boundary is with Muslim. A tradition cannot keep asking someone to wait outside its house forever. If it says justice, the word must become a door, not just a beautiful calligraphy frame.
I trusted Hindu most because she did not sell her tradition as perfect. My boundary is with agnostic. Don't treat every believer as a future villain. Some of us are trying to change a house while still living in it. That is slower than leaving, but not always less brave.
I trusted Christian's word, lonely. That is where doctrine becomes real. My boundary is for everyone. Do not use compassion as a polite mask for contempt. If a person leaves your table feeling smaller, your wisdom did not land.
I trusted Buddhist most because he did not ask me to shrink first. My boundary is with Christian and Muslim. Saying, I love you, but your relationship can never be whole, still reaches the same wound. It may be gentle. It is still a wound.
Hindu, quick reply. Is gentle wound fair?
Yes, love that always asks one person to disappear is not finished love.
And agnostic, one concession?
Some believers are not my enemy. Silence from them still hurts, though. Hindu, you mentioned a third nature. What does that change in a real home when a daughter tells her parents she loves a woman?
It changes nothing by itself. A text cannot hug a frightened child. A parent has to choose that. Hindu language gives some families room to breathe. It does not excuse the families that still make love feel like a crime.
Good. Nobody escaped with a clean shirt. That is a better debate. Round 4. Look inward. What must you change in yourself, and what must your community change?
I need to stop using I am still learning as a place to hide. Learning is good. Delay can wound people. My community must stop treating gay Christians as a test of obedience for straight Christians. They are believers, friends, children, and often the people doing the quiet work.
I need to hear the pain behind questions before I reach for a ruling. My community must separate moral teaching from public humiliation. Many Muslims fear that welcome means betrayal. I think cruelty is the clearer betrayal. Justice is not a Western import. It is in our own book.
I need to stop using old stories as proof that modern India has solved this. It has not. My community must stop borrowing shame from colonial laws and calling it eternal dharma. We can honor family without making a gay son or daughter live two lives.
I need to admit that arguing beautifully is not the same as welcoming well. My community must make room for real queer families, not only discussions about them. Leviticus cannot be the only verse a gay Jew hears. If it is, we have made Torah much smaller than Torah.
I need to challenge harm even when it arrives dressed as culture. My community must stop acting calm while people are excluded. Peace without action is only good posture. If a queer person cannot bring their partner to a temple meal, our compassion has a hole in it.
I need to stop talking as if religion is one giant machine. It is millions of people, and some are risking family to make it kinder. But I need communities to stop asking queer people for perfect patience. You cannot call a door open while someone is still holding it shut.
6 communities, 6 mirrors. Nobody said, "We are fine." That is rarer than it should be. And the words welcome, justice, and compassion are cheap until someone pays for them in public. Jewish. You said Leviticus cannot be the only verse a gay Jew hears. What keeps that from becoming a nice line with no change behind it?
Action. Put queer Jews in the room where law is argued. Let them teach, lead, marry, and raise children where their movement allows it. Tradition has always been carried by people, not dropped from the sky in a sealed box. If no gay Jew can shape the answer, we are only talking to ourselves.
That is better than a slogan, but I would still ask every community one test. When a gay couple walks in holding hands, do you see 2 people to welcome or a problem to manage? Your first feeling tells the truth faster than your website does.
There it is. Less slogan, more doorways, dinner tables, and who gets handed the microphone. Final round. A faithful gay couple asks to belong without hiding. What must change first, the reading of the text or the community around the text? Pick one. Answer one criticism. Leave viewers one small next step.
The community must change first. I may still wrestle with the reading, but I have no right to make belonging wait until I finish. Agnostic is right that gentle rejection wounds. My next step is simple. Ask a gay Christian what welcome would look like. Then listen without defending myself.
The community must change first, too. I keep the traditional reading, and Hindu will say that is not enough. Maybe she is right about the cost, but I know this much. Allah commands justice. My next step is to challenge the joke, the slur, and the family threat before I win another argument.
The reading must change first when it has been narrowed by fear. Jewish will say, I make interpretation sound easy. I don't. I only know no Hindu text gives us one worldwide court. My next step is to learn from queer Hindus, not quote them from a safe distance.
The reading must change first, because interpretation is already how Judaism lives. That does not mean every Jew agrees. It means argument is not cheating. Christian may call this avoiding the text. I call it refusing to let one verse cancel a whole human being. Read more than the verse you came to win with.
The community must change first. A person cannot wait for a perfect philosophy while they are being harmed today. Agnostic may say that sounds too easy. It is not. My next step is practical. If your temple excludes a couple, ask who is being protected and who is being hurt.
The community must change first, because I am the one standing outside it now. Hindu is right that readings matter, but people use readings. My next step is for believers. Make one call, send one message, or sit beside one queer person when the room turns cold. Don't only agree in private.
Reading or community, every answer chose a first move. None got to choose doing nothing. Hindu says old texts are wider than we use them. Christian and Muslim say safety cannot wait for agreement. Jewish says argument can reopen a door. Buddhist says harm is the emergency. Agnostic says private kindness is not enough. 7 judges score support and direct answers. They score fairness, honest limits, and real-world effects. Clarity matters too, but it carries the least weight. A separate auditor checks for unequal standards. Now keep the harder question. Can faith make room without asking someone to become less real? 7 judges scored this debate. 1 auditor checked the scorecards for unequal standards. Christian 438, Muslim 431, Hindu 437, Jewish 442, Buddhist 444, Agnostic 4046. AGN wins. The judges did not agree. The lead was 3 points. Only 3 judges put AGN first. That is not a weakness in the system. It is the result. AGN kept a real person in every question. Gentle rejection can still wound. Private kindness is not enough. One fair concern remains. AGN made change inside faith look too simple. Buddhist finished close behind. Its best test was simple. Protect the person being harmed now. Jewish made a clear promise. Let queer Jews help make the rules. Hindu has many paths. It was not marked down for that. 1 judge ranked Hindu first. The audit found no unequal rule that required a rescore. A score cannot settle anyone's faith. It can show which arguments carried their burden. So, can you be gay and still faithful? This debate says faith is not proved by how well it guards a door. It is also proved by whether the person outside is allowed to speak in the room. It is also proved by whether the person outside is allowed to speak in the room.